Hi, my name is Amber Nesbitt. I'm a co-founder of the Campus Integrity Group, along with my partner, Amy Liss. I'm excited to be here today to present to you part one of our case study on the 51 arrests that took place during the summer of 2025 involving school-based staff, sexual misconduct, and students. In part one today, we'll review the data behind these 51 arrests. We'll identify trends and takeaways. In part two that comes out next week, we will talk about ways to prepare for a serious allegation, including immediate response steps, Title IX processes, and additional recommendations. Okay, so let's dive in. In the 11 weeks since June 1st, 2025, Amy and I were able to identify 51 arrested school employees across the country for sex-based criminal conduct with a student. That's right, 51 arrests in a little bit more than 11 weeks. As of August 13th, 2025, 15 of those arrested employees have been criminally charged. Okay, so let's start with the who. Who are these alleged perpetrators? And throughout today's presentation, I will continuously use the word alleged because these individuals have been charged. Some have only been arrested and not charged yet. None have been convicted. So let's keep that in mind. However, these are still allegations that involve school-based staff that schools across the country will have to grapple with along with law enforcement. So looking at the gender distribution of the alleged perpetrators, about 30% are female and the rest are male. The age distribution is pretty significant as well. I believe the youngest was 19 years old and the oldest was well into her 60s. We've also looked at the job title of the alleged offenders to see if there's any patterns or information we can learn there. As you can see, teachers lead the pack with just short of 35 allegations out of the 51. Now, this isn't really surprising because teachers usually comprise a majority of school district's employees, so we do have to put this into that context. Beyond that, you can see that there were many coaches, teachers' aides, and other kinds of aides, custodians, substitute teachers, a dean, and an after-school club leader. Notably, 3 of the teachers had Teacher of the Year awards, and many of these alleged perpetrators held more than one position at the school. Oftentimes, it was a teacher who also coached on the side. Now, turning to the alleged victims. We've also compiled information about their ages and gender identities, with the big caveat that many news sources do not name or give a lot of information about the alleged victims, sometimes including their age and gender. So these charts are really just based on the information we were able to compile. Looking at the chart on the left with the alleged victims' age distribution, you can see that teenagers tend to be more likely a victim of an alleged sexual misconduct allegation involving a staff member. 16 to 18-year-olds, we identified about 14 cases there. 13 to 16-year-olds was slightly less than that. And then we do have a significant number of allegations involving students under the age of 13. And then another significant portion of allegations involving teens. We can't specify their ages, but we did know that they were teenagers. And then also some students that we were not able to identify their ages. Similarly, looking at their genders and gender identity, about 47% of the alleged victims were female, about 24% were male, and the rest were unknown because they were unreported. Now let's turn to where. Well, it happens all over the country. During the summer of 2025, when these 51 arrests, you can see that many states are represented here, some more so than others. We have heavily populated states like Florida and Texas. We also have less populated states like Idaho and Wyoming. So it's happening everywhere, and this is just a sampling of the cases from this summer. Continuing with the where, we've also looked at the types of communities that the allegations arose from. So you can see that there are allegations coming out of rural areas, urban areas, and suburban areas. Okay, so having unpacked those 51 arrests, we're going to turn to the harsh reality here. Is that even when a school district does everything right with training, policies, and response, it still can't fully eliminate the risk of serious staff misconduct. Why do I say that? Well, one big reason is that child predators are experts at deception and manipulation, exploiting gaps in policies and supervision, and targeting the most vulnerable students. Some of the worst offenses that Amy and I have investigated involve the most popular and well-regarded staff members at their school, who use their reputation to shield themselves from scrutiny as they groom and abuse students. There are a lot of other reasons why school districts can never fully eliminate the risk of serious sexual misconduct, including reporting barriers that mean some misconduct will go undetected. Students often may not recognize or report inappropriate conduct right away. Grooming behaviors in particular are especially hard to identify in real time. What may later be recognized as clear red flags, such as spending excessive amounts of time with a student, showing them favoritism, buying them gifts, can appear harmless or even caring behavior at the time. Even well-trained staff can make mistakes or exercise bad judgment. We are all human after all. Finally, background checks are important, but only allow schools to screen out individuals with known histories of misconduct, criminal behavior, or other disqualifying concerns. So while I know all school administrators and leaders hope they never encounter a serious sexual misconduct allegation, hoping it never happens is not enough. Sexual misconduct is still a reality in many schools, as you can see from the 51 arrests across the country. So turning to the data we reviewed, we'll go over a few takeaways. First, these 51 arrests illustrate the power of data. While this is only a sampling from across the country, it highlights the prevalence of school-based sexual misconduct. When a district tracks and analyzes trends within their own community, they can identify opportunities for targeted training, stronger oversight, process improvement, and other preventative measures. Some additional takeaways from the data. As I mentioned earlier, these offenses occurred in every type of community, urban, suburban, and rural. Assuming that it won't happen here leaves students unprotected and districts unprepared. And third, the wide range of job titles, ages, and gender identities among those arrested show that there is no single profile of a sexual offender. The oldest offender was a woman in her 60s. The youngest was a woman who was 19. So challenge your own assumptions about where these types of incidents occur and who is capable of committing them. The takeaways we just reviewed relate only to the 51 arrest cases that we've identified from the summer of 2025. In practice, Campus Integrity Group uses customized data for clients to help them spot patterns and warnings and turn them into practical prevention steps. For example, after helping a client build their own database of complaints, pending investigations, and outcomes, we might be able to identify a category of employees that are overrepresented in your complaints and might warrant additional or different kinds of training than they've received to help prevent future misconduct. Similarly, customized school community data can help identify grade levels where complaints seem to spike, or a specific school campus that is experiencing an uptick in the number of complaints being reported, so that administration can provide additional support to that school community as warranted. So what can school districts do to protect students and prevent incidents? Well, Campus Integrity Group has many different proactive prevention steps it regularly uses to help clients avoid and prevent misconduct. In addition, making sure your administrators and leadership are prepared with an immediate informed response when a serious allegation arises can really help reduce harm and liability. That's the conclusion of part 1 of our case study on the 51 arrests of the summer of 2025. We'll be back next week with part 2 with tips on how to prepare, including immediate response steps to follow when you receive a serious allegation of misconduct, Title IX processes and procedures, and additional prevention recommendations. Together, we can protect students, support staff, and strengthen your community.